You knew a friend who was trying to learn ballet, but was told by her instructor her boobs were too big. That is fairly common, I believe.
Yes, it is actually.
That's the same thing with gymnastics. If you're trying to get into gymnastics and you actually grow a rack,
Hmm.
your center of gravity is thrown off because
Hmm.
you know there's weight there. So it really does raise your weight and it makes you. There's a lot more impact. It seems silly, and I'm sure that women with breasts are easily capable of doing gymnastics. But if you grow D cups, all of a sudden you got things hitting you in the face and like, um,
I don't think D is a little bit bigger than that to hit you in the face.
I don't know.
Um,
But I'm just saying like there's gravity there that is at
yeah,
stake.
it apparently has everything to do with balance. But yeah, okay, we made really mean jokes about Nicole Kidman all through Black Swan. When I say we, I was in there with four of my silliest, goofiest friends, and we were sitting there and we are like, "You just hate shoot, why did her name escape me? Mia, she plays the other girl in
Mila
it.
Kunis.
Mila Kunis. It's like you just hate Mila Kunis because she's got a better rack than you do. It's like
What?
every once in a while we're like, Nicole Kidman, where are her boobs? Where are her boobs? She doesn't have any. Yelling at the screen, where's your rack?
And I'm
We're
sure the
messed up.
bias. I'm sure the gymnastic bias against boobs is entirely shallow and pointless because I'm fairly sure you can kind of restrain those puppies. But
Yeah. But yeah, that's
it,
why
well,
Nicole Kidman was cast. People were like, she's only proven herself to be very wooden acting. I wonder why she was cast. Harumph harumph. And I'm like, well, probably because she has no tits. Shame on you.
you mean Natalie Portman?
Yeah. Shoot me. Not Mila Kunis, the other one. Tharp.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, she's not exactly but actually my film teacher was talking about. He said, that was a really bold move of Aronofsky to cast a woman who can't act. I'm like, well, that's not really fair. And then I look back at her body of work, and I was like, I can't argue against you though either.
You want a woman with a flat chest? You get some Keira Knightley.
Oh yeah,
I think the only
She is a flat woman.
she is.
I think the only movie that Natalie Portman was ever in that I ever considered any good was The Professional.
Yeah, but well, at least now she's getting some attention at the Oscars thanks to this movie. So yeah.
Oh, yay.
Yeah, dull voice. I didn't think she was that great in Black Swan. Honestly, I think the movie was stronger than her performance was. I mean,
As long as we don't have a movie as bad as Avatar nominated for Best Picture this year, I'm happy.
yeah. What was Avatar? What was that doing there? I just. Mm.
If you watch Keira Knightley in Pirates of the Caribbean, there was some hardcore engineering going on in that corset to get those boobs shoved
Yeah,
up as high as they were.
of course. Try wearing a corset. You'd know everything about that, wouldn't you, dear?
There was a team of 6 men who were trying to get those boobs bigger for that corset.
They're in there
Army Corps.
somewhere. Keep looking.
Now
Yeah,
I got I got this weird picture of the Army Corps of Engineers sitting down with the blueprint. Okay, man, got some work to do here.
we got to make these things bigger. There's nowhere else we could possibly cram toilet paper.
Bless her heart. Lol, somebody in the chat said, Avatar, don't you mean StarCraft versus Warcraft, Nash?
Pretty
Hey,
good.
now, before you start thinking I'm judging the flat chest among us, I would still hit Keira Knightley with an inverse tachyon beam, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying she has small boobs.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with the flat chest. I was gonna say, the few times I looked at the fetish feel page on TV Tropes, I read down it and somebody said that I was like cute or whatever because I was a DFC, and I was like, wait, what? No, because DFC means flat chested and cute, like that's a turn on for some people. And I was like, what? No, that's not okay. That's not true. So I like posted a video to Twitter of myself in a tight shirt, and I was like, look, I have a rack, I do. And so like then people edited the fetish feel page with that, so now they know that I looked at it. And I feel bad. It's like I was there. I admit
You
it.
validated them.
Yes, exactly.
Don't feed them, dear. They'll
Link,
just
Don't
keep coming
feed
back.
them.
chat room, link to pics, please.
Sad face. Ugh. But
I
know,
did a
I
dance.
had to-
I did a dance in my underwear. I have no shame.
That image of Cinema Snob dancing around on his porch naked will haunt me for the rest of my life.
Yes, it will.
Or no, okay, have you seen, in one of his reviews, there's one frame of him sitting in a chair holding a
with his
newspaper.
legs crossed. Yeah.
Yes. It's one frame, or maybe two, but...
I gotta say, I do admire his commitment to sparkle motion there. Jesus Christ.
Yes. I was like, wait a minute. Did I? No.
Sparkle.
Yeah. Devotion to sparkle motion.
Apparently
Criminy, it's 5 in the morning.
Yep.
What do you mean 5? It's 6 in the morning.
It's 5 in the morning. What are you doing in the future? Ow.
Greetings from the world of tomorrow.
I'm wide awake. I'm eating Neapolitan ice cream. I'll be awake for a while. Get to choose, mix and match flavors.
I looked for a dog yesterday.
Oh, what kind of dog?
This was a Jack Russell Terrier, but I don't normally look for Jack Russells because apparently their heredity makes them insane. But this was apparently a very mellow Jack Russell. But anyway,
I've had experience with friends with Jack Russells. Those are the bounciest, yippiest dogs ever.
Now this dog was pretty mellow, but for a Jack Russell anyway.
For Jack Russell, yeah.
Anyway, that was my day. Nobody's linked a picture yet. I'm very disappointed in all of you, Sharon. Oh well.
Wah, wah, wah.
It's best if I don't see it anyway. Then things will get weird. And Scarlett would hit me.
They're crying. We're trying. Ouch. Afraid.
No, I spent the day screwing around with streaming stuff, so I gotta do scripting tomorrow.
I slept in, and then I visited my family, and that was annoying, and then I came back here and talked for hours.
Which was less annoying.
Yes, it was much less annoying, actually.
Yeah.
I'm staring at the Vampire Night DVD on my table. I'm going to cover it with this Freakazoid DVD so I don't have to look at it.
You're still
There
pissed
we
off
go.
about that.
Oh, dear Lord, why would you show me that picture of the Cinema Snob? No!
Yes! Where is it? I want to click it. Where is it?
No! Damn you!
I found it. I found it.
Ah!
It says Brad tries newspaper reading.
We never really need to see that much of Brad. We just
It's like, Brad, I like watching you, but I don't like watching you.
Oh, God.
Oh.
I can't unsee.
Where is
seared
the
into
leave
my
button? I do
brain.
not understand.
I ain't clicking on the damn thing.
His body is like it's actually very disturbing because his body is universally white all over.
White everywhere.
It's just one color.
Oh, me. Oh, man.
Goggles, they do nothing.
Did you know that work? Wow, Woody has had the longest blowjob.
I know, right?
He's
That's
still
the hell.
there.
Just leave.
He's still happy. I'm not sure why he's happy. She's not doing a very good job.
Chat room, show me something sexy to dislodge my memory of that. Not big physique. That's not helping.
Do not want.
No, not the strawberry video.
Fuck you. Chat room, you're not
Oh,
helping.
okay. That YouTube video is the YouTube video I linked to basically tell people I have a right. That's what I was referring to. So that's why blah blah blah. I'm not encouraging people to look at this.
These people have a weird idea of sexy. I'll tell you what.
What is that? A wrestler? Is a bodybuilder? What? Sigh.
I ain't clicking the shit. I don't know why you
I'm not
guys
I'm
are.
clicking that
clicking
link. It
all
looks
of
like a
them.
really bizarre, huge link, and I'm not going there.
Guy, it's a female wrestler, I think. It's
Oh,
not
Luna
that-
Vachon? I know who Luna Vachon is.
It's funny how amazingly I don't. Maybe it's just me, but I must be really hard to phase because guys is like you show a naked guy to another guy and they're like and you show a naked girl to a girl and they're like huh?
I
Guys,
told you.
Terrified of dick, man.
I told you about part of why I went to see Watchmen, right?
Uh, yes.
Yeah, I went to see Watchmen in the theater, partially just to watch the horror on the faces of the guys in the audience around me as they realize, yeah, you're gonna have to be staring at Blue Man Wang for a good chunk of this film.
I read seriously though. I read the comics, so there was no surprises on that score
Oh,
for me.
yeah.
I was just like,
Oh yeah, well, good. Yeah, if you've read the comics, but most of the people who went to see that movie didn't even know it was a comic.
oh yeah. If you weren't ready for that, you'd be like, whoa.
And it was
Surprise penis.
it was quite a glorious reaction on the faces of the people around me. I enjoyed myself thoroughly, just the horror and revulsion of my fellow man.
Yes.
I think they even asked him at some point,
frozen
they're like,
penis.
you know, you are like omnipotent. You could conjure pants. Why don't you? And he's just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
They say when they
I think he actually asked, like, would it make you feel better if I did? And they're like, yes. And so he does. And he's like, thank you.
when that movie when that movie was originally in talks, I thought there's no way they're going to do full frontal in this thing. So I had the concept of that Dragon Con that year was going to put up wanted posters that was just a blue dildo. Just have you see me? If found, call Dr. Manhattan. But no, they went with the full frontal. So
That was one thing that wouldn't really have bothered me because there are many times in the comic where for like PR stuff he's wearing like a Speedo.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, if he just walked around in a Speedo, I'd have been like, whatever. I wouldn't have cared. I'd made jokes about it, of course, but I wouldn't have been like, this movie is nothing like the comic because he's wearing a thong. I'd be like, I just don't care. For pretty much similar reasons why they never show the Incredible Hulk's Incredible Wang. You know, like, wouldn't he erupt out of his pants? You're just like, well, then you'd have his big green dork flopping around. You really want to do that? I'm like, I don't care,
No
really.
one wants that.
You'd think if why doesn't it? Do you want it? Is that what you're telling us? You subconsciously want Hulk Wang? Is that what you're saying? But
Well, see, what would be most disturbing is you got to imagine when the Hulk turns big and green that he's got a major hate boner going on. Which you got to admit would be kind of spectacular to see.
Wait. Hate boner? What?
Yeah,
This
you
is
don't
a
know how
concept foreign
you don't
to
have access to the equipment. You don't know how those work.
Hulk have strongest dick there is.
It just has to do with blood rushing to the brain and other stuff too.
It's a very Scottish thing. You wouldn't understand. Actually, it is a very Scottish thing because this. I can't believe I'm going to tell this story. The Scottish Highlands. Yeah. Okay. You ever see Mel Gibson in Braveheart where he has that blue shit on his face?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the blue paint. That actually is a thing.
Woad.
That's called woad.
Yeah.
And what woad is, it's basically like a paste derived from local plants, and it's basically a hallucinogen or it's a drug that absorbs through the skin. And so what they would do is they'd have these guys called woad warriors, and so they would smear this blue shit on them. It would get soaked into their skin. It would drive them fucking insane. Like it was like PCP to these guys. And so when the Scottish Highlanders went to war, they would cover themselves in this blue shit, get outrageously fucking pissed off, and one of the side effects is that it would increase your heart rate and make you psychotic, and when your heart rate went up, you basically popped the biggest erection of your life. And so and they would charge into combat entirely naked, swinging swords. And so you're like, why would they do that now?
When you say swinging swords,
Swinging steel swords
okay.
in their hands.
You have to feel sorry for the English at that point because they're just looking there at that going, are they going to kill us, fuck us, or both?
Now, before you laugh about them charging into battle without any armor, here's the thing. Imagine you're an English soldier. You're barely getting paid any money for this shit. And you go to the Scottish Highlands to do like a police action, basically. And then all of a sudden, coming over the hill, you see 2,000 250-pound, beefy Scottish naked fucking maniacs covered in blue paint with foot-long erections charging directly at you. You are freaked out of your mind.
Yeah, well, I'm done.
You are done. At that point, you are officially like, Jesus, you are not going to get in there and mess with that. That's pretty much the story.
The little person with the fife and drum or whatever in the back runs back. I'm leaving.
Yeah, you got 3,000 fucking insane naked boner wielding Scotsmen charging down the hill. It's pretty much over for you.
That's a hell of a legacy to have.
Would you seriously, like it? You may laugh, but man, if you were going to war against that, you'd be like, those guys don't fucking care, man. They will fight you no matter what. They will fight you till you chop them into croutons. So that was the level of commitment those guys had. That they were called berserkers. Mm-hmm. You know, those guys.
See, I heard the story about them wearing certain chemicals, or whatever, that drove them crazy. I didn't hear the part about them running into battle naked, waving their manhood.
That was
lovely. Well, see, I get this from TV. They don't necessarily mention that part.
That's actually why I was kind of disappointed in Braveheart. I was waiting for the naked. I was waiting for the naked berserkers to come charging down the hill, and they do kind of show that when they moon the archers are lining up and they moon them, and one guy's like waving his cock. You can see the guy just like lift his kilt up and start waving his junk at him. And I was like, that's what I'm talking about.
Somebody in the chat just said, I just unmuted a naked boner wielding Scott.
History is fun.
Yeah. Can you imagine those guys going back home to their wives? You want to spice it up tonight, dear? I've still got some blue paint.
Actually, this is the second part of the story that would greatly disturb you. Is
oh dear,
when the berserkers would die, oftentimes the stiffness would persist.
God.
Standing proudly in the face of battle.
So even in death, they would be proudly saluting. And it was not unheard of for various warriors in the middle of the battle to
have
some fun.
This is not the time to play horseshoes.
I tried to put that as delicately as possible.
And then I just steamroll right over it. I broke Nash.
That's a hell of a picture to have in your head.
Horse falls over dead, and it's like, hey, wait a minute.
God. Oh, Jesus Christ.
There's a lot of historical warfare that is kind of forgotten in movies a lot of times. Like in Robin Hood, you picture like Russell Crowe charging down around and swinging a sword and stuff like that. But there's a lot of dirty tricks that, especially the English, the Europeans practiced war on a really dirty scale. And I'm not just talking about nakedness, but like one of the stories that really horrified me was English archers and warriors back at the Battle of Crécy and stuff like that. When they were fighting the French and when they were fighting the Scotsmen, they basically practiced biological warfare, and here's how they do it. You might think like Nash, if I shot you with an arrow, it may not necessarily kill you.
Right, depends on where you hit me.
Depends on that's the thing is like, well, it would depend where if you hit me in the leg, it wouldn't kill me, obviously. And I'd be like, well, here's the thing. The archers back in England didn't aim. They would do arc fire. They would just aim at a general location, fire up, and hope for the best. But here's what they did: was they would store their arrows and their swords wherever they had their privies. Like if they would build a ditch and they would take a shit in it. So they would store their swords and their arrows in the shit, and they would pull it out. And when they went to battle, it's like what the Vietnamese did with the punji sticks, is they would cover their bamboo spears and shit. And so when you got hit with this, it didn't matter where you got hit. You were getting a fucking infection, the likes of which are spoken of in legend. You were going to die. And you were going to die nasty. So, yeah, that was some fun stuff that you never see in the movies.
How's that ice cream there, Hope?
It's delicious. I'm staring at the chocolate intently.
Because it looks like poop.
Thank you, Spoonie. That needed clarification.